100 stories for having goals and achieving them. Close your eyes now and let yourself settle into this moment tonight. We're going on a quiet journey together, exploring why having something to reach for, something that stirs your heart, can transform everything. Imagine for a moment a gardener, standing in the early morning light. The air is cool and still she holds a single seed in her palm. So small, so ordinary, but within that seed lives an entire garden. Waiting, this is what a goal is, and the first reason to hold one close to your heart is that a goal gives your mind a place to rest. Just as that seed knows exactly what it will become, your mind finds peace when it knows where it's growing toward, with that direction. Thoughts scatter like leaves in wind, but with a destination, even a distant one, your mind can finally breathe. The gardener plants her seed. And here we discover the second reason: a goal transforms empty time into sacred time. Every morning she visits that small patch of earth becomes meaningful. The minutes aren't just passing, they're building. When you're passionate about something, the hours you spend working toward it aren't stolen from your life. They become the richest parts of it. Time stops feeling like something slipping through your fingers. It starts feeling like something you're weaving into gold. Days pass in the garden, and something miraculous happens beneath the soil. Roots spreading in darkness where no one can see. This teaches us the third reason. Goals give you permission to trust invisible progress. You can't always see what's growing. Some days you'll feel like nothing is happening, but with a goal you believe in, you learn to trust the unseen work, the quiet cellular changes, the underground expanding. This faith, this knowing that good things are forming even when you can't measure them yet, it brings a deep calm to your spirit. One morning, the smallest green shoot breaks through the earth. The gardener kneels down, and her eyes fill with tears, not because the shoot is impressive, but because it's proof. And this is the fourth reason: passion for a goal teaches you to celebrate the smallest evidence of becoming. When you care deeply about where you're headed, you learn to honor the tiny victories. The first pain trip and the first mile walk, the first conversation that went well. These microseconds of progress become moments of joy. And suddenly, your life fills with so many more reasons to smile. Let's drift now to another scene. A musician, sitting alone in a small room. His fingers are clumsy on the guitar strings. The sounds are awkward, imperfect, but he returns each evening. And here's the fifth reason. A goal you're passionate about makes discipline feel less like sacrifice and more like devotion. He doesn't practice because he has to. He practices because these moments with his guitar, even the difficult ones, bring him closer to the person he's becoming. When you love where you're going, the work changes shape, stops being punishment, and becomes something closer to prayer. Once past for the musician, and something shifts. He notices that the ache in his fingertips is fading, replaced by calluses that let him play longer, reach further. This is the sixth reason. Pursuing a goal strengthens you in ways you didn't know you needed. You don't just achieve a thing, you become someone capable of achieving it. The journey builds new muscles in your character. Patience you didn't have, courage that surprises you, resilience you didn't know lived in your bones. The goal is almost an excuse for becoming more fully yourself. Picture now a young woman standing at the base of a mountain. She's decided to climb it, not because anyone asked her to, but because something in the heart said yes. And this brings us to the seventh reason. Having a goal gives you something that's entirely yours. In a world where so much is decided for you, where you follow schedules and meet others' expectations, a personal goal is a declaration. This is mine. This matters to me. Not because it should, but because it does. This ownership, this sovereignty over one small corner of your existence, it feeds something essential of the soul. She begins to climb. One step, then another. Hours pass. Her legs ache, her breath comes hard. But she keeps moving. And here's the eighth reason. A passionate goal gives you a reference point for measuring your own courage. You discover what you're made of, not in the abstract, but in real moments on real mountainside, with real sweat on your brow. You learn that you can keep going when you want to stop. You can try again when you failed. You're braver than you thought. And knowing this really on you changes how you walk through the world. Halfway up the mountain, she stops to rest. Looking down, she sees how far she's come. Looking up, she sees how far remains, and both views matter. Because the ninth reason is this: goals teach you to hold progress and aspiration in the same breath. You don't have to choose between celebrating where you are and reaching for where you're going. Both can be true. Both can be beautiful. This balance, this ability to appreciate the journey while still moving forward, it's one of life's most peaceful skills. Another climber passes her on the path, offers a word of encouragement, shares some water. This moment reveals the 10th reason: pursuing a visible goal connects you to others on similar paths. When you're working towards something meaningful, you start recognizing fellow travelers. They see your effort, you see theirs. A community forms, not forced or formal, but organic, people drawn together by the simple shared experience of trying, of caring, of reaching for something beyond today. Let's shift now to a writer, staring at a blank page in a quiet cafe. The cursor blinks, the page stays empty. But she doesn't leave, because here's the 11th reason: a goal you're passionate about gives you a reason to show up on the hard days. Not every day will feel inspired, not every moment will flow. But when you have something you truly care about, something that matters more than your mood, you develop the sacred practice of showing up anyway. And this showing up, even when you don't feel like it. This is where character lives. Words begin to appear on her page, slowly at first, then faster. She loses track of time, hours pass like minutes. And this is the 12th reason: passionate pursuit creates those rare moments of flow where self-consciousness falls away. You stop watching yourself work and simply work. Time bends, the boundary between you and what you're creating blurs. These moments, these pockets of pure absorption, they're some of the most alive moments a human can experience. And goals you care about, they create the conditions for this kind of aliveness. The writer finishes a chapter, saves her work, closes her laptop. Walking home, she feels different, taller, somehow more substantial. This is the 13th reason: working toward a meaningful goal gives you a healthy kind of pride, not arrogance, but a quiet self-respect and knowledge that you're doing something that matters to you and you're not just drifting. Then your life has direction and intention. This feeling, it changes your posture, literally and metaphorically. You carry yourself differently through the world. Now imagine a painter in a studio, looking at a canvas that isn't quite right. Something's missing, she could give up, call it done, but she doesn't. Because the 14th reason is: a goal you're passionate about teaches you the difference between quitting and pivoting. She doesn't abandon the painting, she approaches it differently, tries new colors, new techniques. The goal remains, that the path adjusts. This flexibility, this creative problem solving, it becomes a life skill. You learn that being committed to an outcome doesn't mean being rigid about the method. The painting evolves day by day, stroke by stroke, and watching this transformation unfold, the painter discovers the 15th reason: pursuing a goal gives you something to think about besides your worries. When your mind is somewhere productive to go, problem to solve, a vision to refine, a next step to plan, this spends less time spiraling into anxiety. The goal becomes a healthy obsession, one that crowds out the unhealthy ones. Your mental energy has a home. One evening, the painter steps back and sees it. The painting is finished, really finished, and waves of emotion wash through her. Because the 16th reason is: completing steps toward a goal proves to your nervous system that you're capable. This isn't just intellectual. Your body learns. Your anxiety about future challenges decreases because you have evidence, real, tangible evidence, and you can start things and finish them, that you can envision and execute this proof. It's medicine for self-doubt. She photographs the finished painting, shares it with a few trusted friends. Their responses surprise her. They're moved by what she's created. And this reveals the 17th reason: pursuing your goals gives others permission to pursue theirs. When people see you taking yourself seriously, honoring your own dreams, activate something in them. You become living proof that it's possible, that it's allowed, that ordinary people just like them, can create extraordinary things. Their journey, quietly, without preaching, inspires. Let's return once more to the gardener, standing now in late summer, surrounded by blooming flowers. The single seed has become this, and she understands the 18th reason: a goal fulfilled changes your relationship with time months ago. The garden was just an idea, something in the future, almost unreal, but by showing up daily, by tending and waiting, She collapsed the distance between dream and reality. Time became her ally instead of her enemy. And now she knows, deeply knows, that patience and persistence can transform anything. But here's something beautiful. Even as she enjoys the blooms, she's already thinking about next season. What else might she grow? What new seeds might she try? And this is the 19th reason, perhaps the most important. A goal achieved doesn't empty you, it expands you. You don't cross the finish line and feel depleted. You feel more capable, more curious, more ready. One accomplished goal, one passion pursued to completion. It doesn't close doors, it opens them. You become someone who believes in your own becoming. And that belief, that trust in yourself, it's the most valuable thing you'll ever cultivate. And finally, as you begin to drift towards sleep, hold this 20th reason close. The simple act of having a goal and caring about it right now, tonight, is already changing your brain. Neuroscience tells us that when we set intentions, when we imagine positive futures, when we commit to growth, our neural pathways begin restructuring immediately. You don't have to wait until you achieve the goal to receive its benefits. The having of it, the caring about it, the directing of your attention toward it, this changes you now in this very moment. As you rest, your brain is already becoming the brain of someone moving toward what they love. So rest now, knowing that your goals and passions, even as you sleep, are quietly reshaping you, building you, preparing you for all the beautiful becoming that awaits. Breathe deeply now, and let's continue our gentle exploration together, drifting through more reasons why having something to care about, something to move toward, fills your life with quiet meaning. Imagine a baker waking before dawn, or while the world still sleeps in darkness. She could stay in bed, but instead she rises. Because the 21st reason is this: a goal you love gives you a reason to greet the morning, not with dread, not with heaviness, but with anticipation. Something waits for you in the day ahead, something you want to touch, to shape, to bring closer to life. This transforms dawn from an enemy into a friend, and suddenly mornings become softer. Our hands need the dough, pressing, folding, turning. The rhythm is meditate. And here we find the 22nd reason: passionate work toward a goal connects your hands to your heart. There's something ancient and healing about physical engagement with your dreams. Whether you're kneading, typing, painting, building, or moving, then your body participates in your vision. You become whole. The separation between thinking and doing dissolves, and you remember what it means to be fully human. The dough rises slowly in the warmth, expanding, transforming. The baker waits. And this patience teaches the 23rd reason. Goals remind you that growth has its own timeline, not yours. You can't force the bread to rise faster. You can't build a skill into being overnight. Some things must unfold at their own pace. And learning to honor this, learning to work diligently while surrendering control of the speed. This is wisdom, this is peace. Your goal teaches you to trust the timing of things. Across town, a runner laces up her shoes, steps out into the cool morning air. Her goal is simple: to run a little farther than last week. And this simplicity reveals the 24th reason. The goal doesn't have to be grand to be transformative. Not every dream needs to be audacious. Sometimes the most profound changes come from modest commitments. One more block, one more page, one more conversation. The size of the goal matters less, and the sincerity of your engagement with it. Small goals, held with great love, can reshape entire lives. She runs through quiet streets, past houses still dark, and feels herself part of something larger. This brings us to the 25th reason. Pursuing a goal makes you feel less alone in the universe. You become part of the great human tradition of striving, of trying, of reaching. Every person who ever worked towards something they cared about. Across all of history, they're with you somehow, in spirit, in legacy, in shared experience. You're not isolated in your effort. You're joining an ancient and honorable lineage. Her muscles warm, her breathing finds its rhythm, and something happens. The discomfort of the first mile fades, replaced by something steadier. This is the 26th reason. Goals teach you that discomfort and wrongness are not the same thing. Something can be hard and still be exactly right. You learn to distinguish between pain that signals damage and effort that signals growth. This discernment This ability to stay present with challenge without interpreting it as failure. It changes how you move through every difficulty in life. The runner returns home, stretches, feels accomplished, but she also notices something else. The rest of her day seems more manageable now. And this is the 27th reason. Achieving something difficult in one area creates momentum in all areas. Confidence is contagious within yourself. When you prove you can do a hard thing, even something small, even something unrelated to other challenges, your whole system believes in you more. The difficulty you faced at dawn makes the difficulties of afternoon feel less insurmountable. Now picture a student sitting with a textbook, studying a subject that doesn't come easily. She could choose something simpler, but she doesn't, because the 28th reason is pursuing a challenging goal teaches you that struggle is not the opposite of success. It's the pathway to it. The confusion she feels, the moments of not understanding, these aren't signs she's failing, they're signs she's learning. The goal reframes difficulty from enemy to teacher, and suddenly being challenged feels less like being defeated. She works through practice problems, gets them wrong, tries again, and here's the 29th reason. A goal gives you a safe place to fail, because failure towards something meaningful is different than failure that goes nowhere. Each mistake becomes data, information, a stepping stone. The goal creates context that transforms your relationship with mirror. You're not failing at life, you're learning towards something specific. This difference, it's everything. Hours pass and finally something clicks. She understands the concept that seemed impossible suddenly makes sense, and she discovers that 30th reason. Breakthroughs feel exponentially more meaningful when they're part of a larger journey. That moment of clarity, it's not just about understanding one thing, it's proof that persistence works. It's evidence that you can push through confusion to comprehension. It's a gift your goal gives you, a small victory that teaches you about all victories. Let's drift now to an artist, standing in front of a sculpture she's been working on for months. It's not finished, but she's hit a ball. She doesn't know what comes next, and in this stuck place she learns the 31st reason. Goals teach you to befriend uncertainty instead of fearing it. Not knowing what to do next isn't the end of the journey, it's part of the journey. The goal gives you something solid to hold on to while you sit in the questions. You don't need all the answers right now, you just need to stay engaged. And uncertainty becomes less terrifying when you have a North Star. She decides to step away, to take a walk, to let her subconscious work, and this reveals the 32nd reason. Pursuing a passionate goal teaches you the value of strategic rest. Rest isn't giving up. Rest is part of the work. When you care about something deeply, you learn that sometimes the best thing you can do is stop trying so hard. Trust the process. Let ideas percolate beneath the surface. This wisdom, this knowing and the pushing when to pause, it's a skill that serves you everywhere. Days later, inspiration strikes. She knows exactly what the sculpture needs. And this teaches the 33rd reason. Goals prove that answers come when you stay committed to the question. She didn't have a solution, but she didn't abandon the problem either. She stayed in relationship with it, trusted that clarity would come. And it did. This experience builds a deep faith. And if you keep showing up to what matters, the way forward prepares itself. The sculpture nears completion, and people start asking her about it. What inspired this? What does it mean? And in explaining her work, she discovers the 34th reason. Articulating your goals to others helps you understand yourself more deeply. Putting your passion into words, sharing what drives you, it clarifies your own thinking. Your goal becomes a mirror, showing you what you value, what moves you, what you believe is worth the effort of living toward. Across town, a man sits at his kitchen table, writing a letter to his younger self. His goal is to heal old wounds, to make peace with his past. And this goal, so interior and private, demonstrates the 35th reason. Not all goals need external validation to be worthwhile. Some of the most important work you'll ever do will never be seen by anyone else. Goals don't have to be performative. They don't have to look impressive on social media. The ones that transform you most deeply, they're often invisible to everyone but you. And that's exactly as it should be. He writes honestly about regrets, about forgiveness, about hope. And through this process, he finds the 36th reason. Goals that require honesty force you to become more authentic. You can't fake your way to real growth. To achieve something meaningful, you have to show up as yourself. Flaws included, fears included, truth included. The goal strips away pretense, and what remains is more real, more solid, more you. He finishes the letter, reads it once more, and feels lighter. Something has shifted, and this is the 37th reason. The process of pursuing a goal can heal you even before you achieve it. The journey itself, the daily practice of moving towards something better, it changes your nervous system, your thought patterns, your story about yourself. You don't have to wait for the finish line to feel different. You're becoming different right now with every step. Now imagine a teacher planning lessons for the new school year. Her goal is to reach one difficult student, the one who seems unreachable. And this seemingly small goal reveals the 38th reason. Caring deeply about a specific goal makes you more creative. When you truly want something, when it matters to your heart, your brain starts working differently. You generate ideas you wouldn't have otherwise. You see solutions where you saw only obstacles. Passion unlocks problem-solving abilities you didn't know you possessed. She tries different approaches, adjusts her methods, pays closer attention. And here's the 39th reason. Goals teach you the art of vibration. Nothing has to be perfect the first time, or the second time, or the 10th time. You try, you learn, you adjust, you try again. This cycle, this willingness to be imperfect while moving forward, it removes the paralyzing pressure of getting it right immediately. Progress over perfection becomes more than the same. It becomes how you live. Months into the school year, she sees it as spark in that difficult student's eyes. A question asked, an assignment completed with care. And she experiences the 40th reason. Goals that involve others multiply your joy. When your goal includes someone else's growth, someone else's happiness, someone else's breakthrough, the success feels bigger than just yours. It becomes shared and shared joy. It's somehow exponentially more powerful than joy experienced alone. Your heart expands to hold it all. As you rest now, drifting deeper into sleep, hold these 20 reasons close. Let them settle into your bones, into your dreams, into the quiet knowing that having something to care about, something to move toward, is one of the most human, most healing, most hope-filled things you can do. Settle deeper now into this peaceful place as we continue discovering together more reasons why having a dream to hold, a vision to nurture, brings such richness to your days. Picture photographer walking through her city, a golden hour. She's searching for something, that perfect moment of light. And in this search, she discovers the 41st reason. Goals train your eye to see beauty you would otherwise miss. When you're looking for something specific, when you're attuned to possibility, the world reveals itself differently. Details emerge. Moment shimmer. Life becomes less about what you're scrolling past and more about what you're truly seeing. She raises her camera, waits for the right second, clicks, and this teaches the 42nd reason. Pursuing a goal develops your sense of timing. You learn to recognize readiness in yourself and circumstances and opportunities. Not everything should be forced, not everything should be delayed. There's a rhythm to achievement, and your goal teaches you to feel it, to sense when to act and when to wait. And this intuition becomes one of your most valuable assets. The photograph captures something fleeting, a child's laughter, a shaft of light, a moment that will never come again. And this is the 43rd reason. Goals help you understand that some things are worth doing even if they're impermanent. Not everything you create will last forever. Not every achievement will echo through eternity, but that doesn't diminish its value. The ephemeral matters too. The goal teaches you to honor the temporary, to give your best to moments that will fade, because the giving itself, that's what makes you more alive. Now imagine a gardener again, but this time in autumn she's harvesting what she planted months ago. Tomatoes, heavy and red beans climbing their poles, and as she fills her basket, she understands the 44th reason. Goals create a tangible connection between past effort and present abundance. This harvest, it's not magic, it's not luck. It's the direct result of seeds planted, soil tended, weeds pulled. Your goal gives you this gift, the ability to trace the line between what you did then and what you hold now. Cause and effect become visible. And this visibility is deeply satisfying to the human soul. She shares her harvest with neighbors, gives vegetables to friends, and this reveals the 45th reason. Goals that produce something allow you to practice generosity. When you create, grow, or build something through your passionate pursuit, you have something to give. And giving from your abundance, from what your own hands and heart made possible. It feels different than other kinds of giving. It's more personal, more vulnerable. More connecting. Your goal becomes a bridge between you and others. One neighbor says, "You've inspired me to start my own garden." And here's the 46th reason. Your visible dedication to a goal plants seeds in other people's imaginations. You don't have to preach. You don't have to convince anyone, just the quiet sight of you. Tending your own patch, doing your own work. It gives others permission to tend theirs. Your goal becomes a gentle invitation to everyone around you. Let's shift now to our Viger. Late at night, deleting the paragraph she spent an hour writing. It's not quite right. In this moment of letting go, she lands a 47th reason. Goals teach you that attachment to any single step can block progress toward the destination. Sometimes you have to release what isn't working. Even if you invested time, even if that was good, just not good enough. The goal gives you the courage to delete, to start over, to pivot. Because the larger vision matters more than any individual piece. She tries again, finds better words, feels the paragraph click into place. And this is the 48th reason. Persistence toward a goal proves that better versions are always possible. You're never truly stuck. There's always another approach, another angle, another way to say it. The goal teaches you that limitations are often just the edge of your current imagination. Keep going, keep trying, and you'll find pathways you couldn't see before. Weeks later, she types the final sentence of her book, sits back, stares at the screen, years of work. Complete, and she discovers the 49th reason. Finishing a goal gives you a reference point for enough. In a world that always wants more, that pushes you to keep producing, keep achieving, keep striving endlessly. Completing something teaches you that enough exists. And you can say this is complete, that closure and completion are real and achievable. This lesson, it's freedom. But the very next day, she feels oddly empty. The goal that structured her life is gone, and this uncomfortable feeling teaches the 50th reason. Goals prepare you for the reality that achievement brings both joy and grief. And you reach what you've been reaching for. Part of you celebrates, and part of you mourns. The journey is over, the striving that gave your days shape has ended. This bittersweet feeling. It's moment, it's human. And your goal teaches you that you can hold both the satisfaction and the sadness. That endings are complex. That's okay. Now picture a dancer in a small studio, practicing the same movement over and over. Lift, turn, extend again. And in this repetition, she finds the 51st reason. Goals teach you that mastery lives in the unsexy work of repetition. The moments no one sees the practice, no one applauds. Doing the same thing hundreds of times until your body knows it deeper than your mind does. The goal reframes repetition from boring to savored, from monotonous to meditated. It becomes the price you're honored to pay. Her muscles remember now. The movement becomes fluid, automatic, beautiful. And this is the 52nd reason. Pursuing a goal shows you that you can internalize what once felt impossible. Things that used to require all your concentration, they become second nature. What was once hard becomes easy, freeing up your attention for the next challenge. You realize that you're capable of learning things so deeply they become part of you. In this realization, it removes limits from your future. She performs for an audience, just family and friends, nothing grand, but in that moment, sharing what she's practiced, she experiences the 53rd reason. Goals give you something meaningful to offer the world. Not everyone's contribution will be on a big stage, most won't. But when you develop something, a skill, a creation, a service, your dedicated pursuit of a goal, you have something real to give, something that came from you, something that wouldn't exist without your particular effort. This is how you matter. One person in the audience is deeply moved, tears in their eyes, and the dancer realizes the 54th reason. You never know which part of your journey will touch someone else. What seems small to you might be everything to someone watching. What feels imperfect might be exactly what someone needed to see. Your goal, and your honest pursuit of it, creates ripples you'll never fully see. But they're real, they're out there, moving through the world in ways you can't track. Across town, a man is learning a new language. Progress is slow, grammar confuses, and pronunciation feels clumsy. But he keeps going, Because the 55th reason is goals leave you practice being a beginner, which keeps you humble and empathetic when you put yourself in the position of not knowing or struggling. You're being incompetent at something, you remember what it feels like, and this memory softens how you judge others and increases your patience. It makes you kinder, the goal humbles you, and humility, it's a gift. He practices conversations with native speakers, makes mistakes, laughs at himself, and this teaches the 56th reason. Pursuing a goal in community gives you permission to be imperfect publicly. When everyone knows you're learning, trying, working towards something, they expect imperfection, they root for you. And in a safe space you discover that vulnerability isn't weakness, that showing your rough edges while you're growing, it actually connects you more deeply to others than pretending you have it all together ever could. Months pass and one day he has an entire conversation in his new language, not perfectly but functionally really communicating. And he feels the 57th reason. Breaking through a barrier in pursuit of a goal shows you that your ceiling is higher than you thought. What you believed was your limit wasn't. You had more capacity than you knew. This discovery doesn't just apply to language learning, it applies to everything. Your sense of your own potential expands, and with it, your willingness to try other hard things. Now imagine a couple sitting together, planning a trip they've been saving for months, spread across the table, guidebooks open. And in this planning, they discover the 58th reason. Shared goals deepen relationships. When you dream towards something together, when you make plans and sacrifices and progress side by side, you're building something beyond just the goal itself. You're building partnership, trust, shared memory of working towards something. The goal becomes the soil in which your relationship grows stronger roots. They disagree about the itinerary, have to negotiate, compromise. And this is the 59th reason. Goals create opportunities to practice healthy conflict. Not all conflict is destructive. Sometimes it's just two people caring about different aspects of the same thing, working through these differences, finding solutions that honor both perspectives. This is relationship skill building. The goal gives you a safe context to practice disagreeing and resolving, skills you'll use forever. Finally, after a year of saving and planning, we take the trip, stand together watching the sunset in a place they've only dreamed of. And they understand the 60th reason. Achieving a goal with someone you love creates a memory that belongs only to you. This moment, this accomplishment, it's yours. No one else's. When life gets hard later, when challenges come, you'll have this proof that you can envision something together and make it real. This shared victory, it becomes a touchstone you can return to, a reminder of what you're capable of creating together. Rest now, let these reasons wash over you, knowing that 20 more await, and that each one is another thread in the tapestry of why reaching for what matters changes everything. Breathe, just breathe, as we wander together through more reasons, gentle reasons, deep reasons, why having something to care about fills the empty spaces inside you with light. Picture a woodworker in a quiet workshop, running his hand along a piece of wood, feeling the grain, the texture, the potential, and in this moment of connection with his material, he discovers the 61st reason. Goals that involve creating something teach you patience through partnership with natural processes. The wood has its own character, its own will. You can't force it, you can only work with it, respond to it. Honor what it is while shaping what it becomes. This teaches you about life, about relationships, about everything. Not everything bends to force, some things only yield to gentle, patient attention. He begins to cut, to sand, to shape. Hours pass, and this is the 62nd reason. Focused work toward a goal is one of the few times in modern life when you're truly present, not checking your phone, not multitasking, not half here and half elsewhere, just here, with the wood, with the work, with this moment. Your goal creates a sanctuary of presence, and in that sanctuary, something in you relaxes, something in you remembers what it means to be whole. The piece takes shape, a chair, simple but beautiful, and he realizes the 63rd reason. Goals that result in functional objects remind you that beauty and usefulness can coexist. Not everything has to choose between being practical or being meaningful. Some things can be both, and you can be both. Your goal teaches you that you don't have to be one-dimensional, that your striving can serve multiple purposes, that you contain multitudes. Someone sits in the chair you made, says it's the most comfortable seat in their home, And this reveals the 64th reason: goals completed with craftsmanship create value that outlasts you. The chair will hold people long after he's gone. We'll support tired bodies. We'll be part of family dinners and late night conversations. In quiet moments of rest, this is how your work echoes forward. This is how you matter beyond your years. The goal gives you a way to contribute to the future. Now imagine a teacher again, but this time she's the student taking a class in something completely new to her. Pottery. Her first bowl collapses on the wheel, and she learns the 65th reason: pursuing a goal outside your comfort zone protects you from becoming rigid. If you only do what you're already good at, you calcify, you become brittle. But starting fresh, being bad at something, staying curious, this keeps you flexible, keeps you growing. The goal keeps you young in the ways that matter. She tries again and again, and eventually a bowl holds its shape, wobbly, imperfect, but intact. And this is the 66th reason: goals remind you that good enough is often a victory. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be professional, it just has to be yours, finished, real. The goal teaches you to measure success, not against others, but against your own starting point. And by that measure, you're always winning. She glazes her bowl, fires it, takes it home, uses it every morning for cereal. And its daily use teaches the 67th reason: integrating your goals' fruits into daily life keeps the accomplishment alive. The bowl isn't sitting on a shelf somewhere, proving something. It's part of her routine, part of her mornings. The goal doesn't just give you a single moment of achievement. It gives you ongoing reminders that you can make things, that your hands can shape the world. Every morning, another reminder. Across town, a young man is learning to code, staring at a screen full of errors, frustrated, but he doesn't quit. Because the 68th reason is: goals in difficult areas prove that confusion is just the territory before clarity. Every expert was once confused. Every master was once lost. The errors on his screen, they're not permanent. They're not a judgment of his worth. They're just where he is right now. And where he is right now is on the path. The goal gives him context that makes confusion bearable. He asks for help online, gets a response from a stranger halfway across the world. And this is the 69th reason: pursuing visible goals connects you to a global community of fellow learners. You're never alone. Someone else has struggled with this exact problem. Someone else knows what you're going through. And many of them, they're willing to help. Your goal plugs you into networks of support you didn't know existed. Suddenly, the world feels smaller, kinder, more interconnected. He solves the problem. His code runs, and he feels a rush of pure joy. And this is the 70th reason: small victories in pursuit of a goal trigger genuine neurochemical rewards. That surge of happiness, it's real. It's dopamine, serotonin, all the good chemicals your brain is celebrating with you. And the beautiful thing, you can recreate this feeling, not through substances or consumption, but through effort and progress. The goal gives you a sustainable source of joy, one that comes from within. Now picture someone recovering from an injury, a runner who can't run anymore. She's angry, grieving, but slowly she sets a new goal: to walk a mile without pain. And this humble goal teaches the 71st reason: goals help you rebuild identity after loss. When injury or illness or life changes who you were, a goal gives you something to become. You're not just what you lost, you're also what you're moving toward. This forward motion, even tiny, even slow, it gives you back your sense of agency, your sense of self. She walks cautiously at first, then with more confidence. And this is the 72nd reason: pursuing a goal after setback teaches you the difference between fragility and anti-fragility. She's not just returning to what she was, she's becoming something new, stronger in different ways, more aware, more grateful. The goal doesn't just restore her, it transforms her. She's not the same person she was before the injury. She's better, wiser, more resilient. One day she reaches her mile, no pain, and tears come not from hurt, but from reclamation. And she understands the 73rd reason: goals give you milestones for healing that are more reliable than time alone. People say time heals all wounds, but it's not really time, it's what you do with the time. It's the goals you set, the small steps you take, the progress you make. Time plus intentional effort, that's what heals the goal, structures your recovery, gives it direction, makes healing something you're actively doing, not just passively waiting for. Let's drift now to a musician. practicing scales up and down, do mi fa sol la ti do over and over boring. Maybe. But here's the 74th reason. Goals justify the boring work by connecting it to a larger purpose. The scales aren't the point, the scales serve the music. And when you remember that, when you connect the tedious task to the beautiful aim, the tedium transforms, it becomes devotional. Almost meditative, the goal redeems the boring parts, makes them meaningful. He moves from scales to a piece he loves, and loses himself in the playing. And this is the 75th reason. Goals create structures that paradoxically lead to freedom. The discipline, the practice, the foundation. They don't constrain you, they liberate you, because once the fundamentals are solid, once the skills are internalized, you can improvise, you can play, you can be free within the form. The goal teaches you that freedom without foundation is just chaos, but freedom earned through structure, that's transcendence. Years of practice culminate in a performance. Nothing professional, just a recital. But as he plays, something magical happens. He forgets himself, heard only the music. And this is the 76th reason. Goals that demand skill create opportunities for transcendent experience. When you've practiced enough, know something deeply enough, you can let go of self-consciousness and merge with the do in these moments. Each where pockets of ego is flow. They're as close to spiritual experience as many people get. And your goal, your committed practice toward your goal, it creates the conditions for this kind of magic. The audience applauds, and he feels it. Not pride exactly, but something deeper, and this is the 77th reason. Accomplishment in pursuit of a goal satisfies a fundamental human need for competence. You need to feel capable, not at everything, but it's something you need evidence that you can learn, grow, improve, that you're not static, that effort matters. The goal gives you this evidence, and with it, a quiet confidence that permeates everything else you do. Across the city, a woman is writing letters to every friend she's lost touch with, 1 letter per week. Her goal is reconnection. And this goal teaches the 78th reason. Goals can be relational, not just achievement-based, and these might be the most important of all. Not everything worth pursuing is a skill or a milestone or a creation. Sometimes the goal is repairing a relationship, deepening a connection, becoming a better listener. These goals don't come with certificates or applause, but they change her life more profoundly than any trophy ever could. She mails the letters, waits for responses. Some come, some don't. And this is the 79th reason. Goals teach you that you can only control your effort, not outcomes. She can write the letters, but she can't make people respond, and there's peace in this relief. Even you do your part. You show up, you try, and then you release. The goal trains you in this art of engaged detachment, caring deeply while loosening your grip on results. One friend does respond, suggests they meet for coffee, and sitting across from each other after years apart. She feels the 80th reason. Pursuing a goal creates stories that become part of who you are. She can tell the story now about deciding to reconnect, about writing letters, about taking the risk. This becomes part of her narrative, part of her identity. I am someone who reaches out, who repairs bridges, who tries. The goal gives you stories, and stories give you a sense of self. Rest now, deeper rest. As these reasons settle into your dreams, into your hopes, into the quiet knowing that you are never wasting time when you're moving towards something that matters to your heart. Rest deeply now, as we approach the end of our journey together. These final reasons, like gentle gifts offered to your sleeping mind to carry with you into tomorrow. Picture a grandmother teaching her grandchild to bake bread, the same recipe her own grandmother taught her. And in this transmission, she discovers the 81st reason. Goals that involve teaching others ensure that what you've learned doesn't die with you. When you pass along your knowledge, your skills, your hard-won wisdom, you multiply yourself forward in time. The goal becomes bigger than just your achievement. It becomes a legacy, a gift that keeps traveling through generations. The child's small hands need the dough, mimicking her movements. And this teaches the 82nd reason. Being someone's example is one of the most profound ways a goal serves the world. The grandmother isn't just teaching bread making, she's teaching patience, persistence, the value of working with your hands. The child is learning that old things matter, that tradition has worth, that you can create with simple ingredients. All of this from a goal as humble as baking together. The bread rises, bakes, fills the kitchen with warmth and set. And this is the 83rd reason. Goals that engage the senses create memories that lodge deep in the body. The smell of that bread, the child will carry it forever. 30 years from now,
catching that scent, she'll be transported back to this kitchen, this afternoon, this love. Your goal, when it involves sensory experience, it doesn't just create thoughts, it creates imprints, embodied memories that live beneath words. Now imagine an astronomer, staying up through the cold night, waiting to see a rare celestial event, hours of discomfort for minutes of wonder. And this teaches the 84th reason. Goals teach you that some moments are worth extreme effort to witness. Not everything valuable comes easily. Some beauty, some truth, some experience. It demands sacrifice. Staying up, staying cold, staying patient. And when the moment comes, when the comet appears or the eclipse occurs, you understand this is what you waited for. This is why you stayed. The goal calibrates your sense of what's worth enduring.
The sky performs its ancient dance, and he's there to see it. One human, looking up, connected to the universe, and this is the 85th reason. Pursuing goals that connect you to something vast puts your daily concerns in perspective. When you're reaching toward the stars, when you're studying the infinite, when you're engaging with something so much bigger than yourself, your small anxieties shrink, not because they don't matter, but because you remember they're not everything. The goal becomes a doorway to awe, and awe is healing. Let's return to the garden one last time. Where we began, the gardener sits on a bench, surrounded by the life she's tended, and she understands the 86th reason. Goals give you a reason to steward rather than just consume. So much of modern life is about taking, buying, using, discarding. But a goal, especially one that involves growth or creation, makes you a caretaker, a tender of things, a person who adds rather than just subtracts. This shift in identity, from consumer to creator, it changes your relationship with everything. She notices a weed, pulls it, tends even now. And this is the 87th reason. Goals teach you that maintenance is as important as creation. You don't just plant once and walk away. The garden needs ongoing care. And so do you. So do your relationships. So do your skills. The goal trains you in sustainability, and showing up not just for the exciting beginning, but for the orderly middle and the careful tending that keeps things alive. The butterfly lands on a flower, and she simply watches, marvels, and this teaches the 88th reason. Working toward a goal heightens your appreciation for beauty you didn't create, because she tends her garden. She notices every visitor, every moment of unexpected grace. The goal makes you more attentive, more grateful, more aware that you're part of something larger, that your effort participates in processes beyond your control, that mystery and gift exist alongside your work. Now picture a writer, decades after publishing her first book, still writing every morning. And this reveals the 89th reason. Goals can become lifelong practices rather than finite achievements. Not every goal has an ending. Some become who you are. You don't stop being a writer after one book. You don't stop being a learner after one lesson. Some goals are not destinations, they're directions, ways of being. And that's not failure, that's transformation. The goal stops being something separate from you and becomes you. She writes with less urgency now, more joy, and this is the 90th reason. Goals pursued over decades teach you that the relationship with your passion matters more than any single outcome. She's not racing anymore, she's not trying to prove anything, she's just writing because it's who she is, because it connects her to herself, because the work itself has become the reward. This is the deepest level of goal achievement, when the doing becomes the point. Across town, a father tucks his children into bed, reads them a story, kisses their foreheads. His goal is simple: to be present, to be there. And this goal, so ordinary and so profound, teaches the 91st reason. The most important goals are often the ones no one else will applaud. There's no trophy for showing up every night, no recognition for being consistently kind. But these goals, these quiet, daily commitments to love, they matter more than anything else. They shape souls, they create safety. They build the world you want to live in. He watches them sleep, feels the weight of responsibility and love. And this is the 92nd reason. Goals that involve caring for others expand your capacity to love. Every time you show up for someone, every time you choose them over your comfort, every time you sacrifice for their well-being, your heart grows. Not metaphorically, actually. Your capacity increases. The goal stretches you, and what once felt impossible becomes natural. You become more than you were. Now imagine all the people we visited: the gardener, the musician, the runner, The writer, the baker, the teacher, the climber, all of them in their separate lives, reaching for what matters to them. But here's the 93rd reason: knowing that millions of others are also pursuing your goals creates an invisible web of shared humanity. You're not alone in your striving right now. This moment, someone else is also trying, also practicing, also showing up. You're part of this vast, beautiful human project of becoming. And even though you'll never meet most of these people, you're connected to them. You're in it together. Some will achieve their goals, some won't, but they're all changed by trying, and this is the 94th reason. The pursuit itself transforms you regardless of the outcome. You're not the same person who started the journey. Has carved you, shaped you, deepened you. Win or lose, succeed or fail, you're different now. More resilient, more humble, more aware, more alive. The goal does this alchemy of effort, and it happens whether you reach the finish line or not. And here's something beautiful, the 95th reason: goals completed open space for new dreams you couldn't have imagined at the beginning. When you finish one thing, really finish it, you don't just stop. You look around, you notice new possibilities, new interests, new passions. Each goal achieved raises your vantage point. And from that new height, you can see further, dream bigger, reach for what you couldn't even picture before. Now, as sleep pulls you deeper, here's the 96th reason: having the goal gives you something to look forward to, which is one of the most powerful antidotes to despair. When life is hard, when days are heavy, when you're not sure how you'll keep going, the goal whispers, not yet. There's something ahead, something you want to see, something you want to complete. This forward pull, this anticipation that keeps you here, keeps you trying, keeps you alive. And the 97th reason: goals give your suffering meaning. Not all pain can be avoided, not all difficulty can be sidestepped. But when you're suffering in service of something you care about, when the hardship has a purpose, when the struggle is pointing somewhere, it becomes bearable, meaningful, almost sacred. The goal doesn't eliminate pain, but it transforms it from senseless to significant. Here's the 98th reason: pursuing a goal is an act of hope. Every time you work towards something, every time you plan for a future, every time you invest effort in becoming, you're saying yes to possibility, yes to growth, yes to the belief that tomorrow can be different than today. This hope, it's not naive, it's courageous, it's a choice. And the world needs your hope, needs you to keep reaching, needs you to believe that your effort matters. A 99th reason: almost there now. Goals remind you that you have agency in your own life. You're not just a passive recipient of whatever happens. You can choose, you can decide, you can steer. Not everything is in your control, but something is in that something. That small sphere of influence, it's enough. The goal proves that you can set an intention and move toward it. You can shape your days, you can become this power, this quiet sovereignty. It's yours. And finally, the 100th reason, the last one: settle into this. The simple act of finishing this list, of listening to 100 reasons, proves that you're someone who sees things through. You stayed, you listened, you open yourself to possibility right now. In this moment, you completing something, and that completion, however small it seems, it's evidence that you can start and finish, that you can commit and follow through, that you're capable of more than you think. So rest now, deeply, peacefully, knowing that you carry within you 100 reasons, 100 reminders, 100 invitations to reach for what matters, to care about something, to let passion guide you, to set a goal and move toward it. One small step, one quiet day, one brave moment at a time. You are someone who dreams, you are someone who tries, you are someone who becomes. And that is everything. Sleep well, beautiful soul. Sleep well.